All right. Thanks everybody for jumping on here. This is, I spoke with Chuck earlier. We went over it. This should be a pretty quick meeting. We only have one plan to review and then the ITQ. So does the first one want to start? Green physical needs assessment and integrity.
Do we want to adopt the minutes first?
Oh,
Yes.
sure. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes from last month?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by raising your hand or using the little character. Okay. All right, motion passes. Okay, let's move on to the Housing Authority. Ronaldo's here. I see your beautiful face on there. Thank you, Ronaldo.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me this afternoon. So this is our green physical needs assessment and integrated energy audit. It's a 1-year contract, not to exceed $154,499. It is with the Nelrod Company. They are an MBE. They have done work for us in the past, which we've been very pleased with. It is a professional services contract. Again, so the contract is going to be for 1 year and $143,684 will go to that MBE. There isn't a WBE on the project. However, they did reach out but weren't able to bring a WBE on board. So we're happy to have them with us again. Again, they've done work for us for HACP in the past. So I can, if there's any questions that anyone has.
Ronaldo, when you say that they were trying to find a WBE, how were they able to break up the services to be able to consider an additional subcontractor? Because my initial assessment is like, how do you break this stuff up? So
Right. And I think that that's where they may have ran into some difficulties, seeming that a lot of the work is done in-house. So I think that that's where they ran into some glitches for them.
Pause. Can you scroll down? I want to see what the rest of this says. Okay, so is there a description of their good faith effort anywhere?
Yes. On the last page of their submission form, you can see where they reached out to at least 25, 30 different companies, and they have some feedback at least from 5 or 6 of them.
Okay. Does anybody else have questions regarding this?
I noticed that they are from Texas, and you've done work with them before. Is there any other local firms do the work that they do? Firms here in Pittsburgh or even in Pennsylvania?
So I do believe in our outreach efforts at HACP. We did send some information to local businesses, but it also is, based on the most responsive and responsible as well. And so seemingly they were the ones that were awarded the contract.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Can I get a motion?
Commissioner Hall makes a motion to approve this contract.
Okay,
This is Monica. I second. Oh, go ahead.
we got Monica a second. All in favor of approving this contract? Indicate by raising your hand. I see Monica has her hand up. Okay. All right, thanks, Renata.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Motion
Thank
passed.
you.
Okay, we're going to turn it over to Apasna for a brief update on the ITQ contracts.
Yes, thanks, Chuck. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining. So an update on ITQ plans. We have recently, we've had 6 of them, and we've had 1 from DPW and 5 from DOMI. So let's begin with the DOMI ones. There are these 2, if you can see on the Excel sheet, there's one on steel detailing for Swindle Bridge repairs, and the other one is steel detailing for Sawmill Run parking lot repairs. And the project cost for them is 99,938 and 69,710. So now on both these plans, the prime here is STV, but unfortunately we don't have subs on these 2 plans. And I think we have Zach from DOMI and the consultant who can better explain about the nature of the work and why this couldn't be outsourced. So I'll turn it over to Zach, and then we'll jump back and cover the remaining ITQs.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. So what we're working on here, these are both sort of high priority repair projects. They're kind of targeted at very small portions of each bridge. And what the department needs is a consultant to come in, do an in-depth inspection of the problem areas, and based on that inspection, develop kind of the targeted repair, and then help us get that information into the hands of a contractor, and that portion will be bid out through the city procurement to bring in a contract team. I think based on previous experience on these types of projects, that construction portion might be in the realm of $200,000 to $300,000 worth of work. And I suspect at that time that having a larger team will be more feasible. But when it came to putting together these work orders for each bridge repair, the way the hours work out, it really is it's a very small work order in the grand scheme of things. We have Masha from STV on the line who can better explain how the hours add up, but what they have going on, they'll have in-house inspectors, a team of 2 who are out there getting the field collection, and then they'll have two engineers in-house who are putting together all the details, and in-house draftsmen. So it is a small team, and it is in the grand scheme of things, a small repair. But just the way these costs add up, it ends up looking like a relatively large ask. So with that in mind, DOMI has the intention of distributing how we solicit these the small ITQ work orders. So for instance, we recently advertised a bridge inspection contract and had 100% of that work go to a MBE tri-state consultant. And so we're hoping that, while individual work orders might be difficult to split up to bring in sub-consultants, that as we look kind of holistically at all of our work on the ITQ contract, that we're still keeping up our percentages.
So who was awarded this contract? What company?
STV.
Okay. Because I know that, and I may be wrong, but I'm almost positive that A&A Consultants, which is a minority-owned business, does this same type of structural engineering. Cosmos Technologies does this type of structural engineering. So I'm curious to how it was selected. Because I know this is a different process. So maybe you can just explain that a little bit more. Because I know minority owned companies that actually do that kind of work.
Right. And I don't have the list in front of me, but the consultants that we have available on the ITQ contract who are in the small work order structures design portion.
Uh-huh.
I think with the exception of one of them, none of them carry MBE, WBE classification. So we have the one qualified who, again, we've just issued the work order for some citywide bridge inspections, but otherwise we're reliant on trying to fit in sub-consultants under that $100,000 cap.
Okay.
So Zach, this is Commissioner Hall. So are you saying that you're not sure if any MBEs were communicated to or reached out from that list? Is that what you're saying, please?
So we worked kind of in tandem with STV developing the scope of work on these two. And so no, at the moment we weren't, we were only working with one consultant on the ITQ list.
So no outreach, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
So I mentioned that both of these projects, there will be an in-depth inspection of the problem areas, and Masha can maybe speak to this a little bit more clearly, but that will require bringing in a rigging company. They'll help provide access to the underside of the bridge and set up some traffic control and that kind of thing. And that portion of both work orders would be solicited out. And I believe some of the local rigging companies do qualify for MBEs.
Yeah, I can add to, on one of the bridges, actually on Swindle Bridge, we included up to, I believe, third for rigging. So consultant cost is about 2/3 of this. So when we go for bidding for this rigging and traffic and control team, we will include the MWE firm. As far as services go, they're very interconnected. We will have 2-person inspection team. It's only 2 days for Swindle Bridge and 1 day for Sawmill Run Bridge. And on that team, we will have a team inspection leader and a designer who will actually go and see himself or herself what the problem areas are. And then the same designer will proceed with the design. So transferring work there was a little inefficient probably. And then the same designer will proceed directing the drafter with the drawings. And portion of the hours also go to construction consultations, which include meeting during the construction if any problems arise during the construction, to answer. So it's impossible really to split that up. The person who does the design normally does the construction consultation too. So I think based on this, it wasn't feasible really to have WE or any subs really.
So when they meet with the construction, that's going to be a separate work order, and that could be.
No, it's within this one. It's included in the hours here.
But not the actual construction.
No, not the actual construction.
That was my question. So
Sorry.
the actual construction after the findings from these engineers is going to be separate.
Competitively bid on,
Okay.
I guess not Beacon anymore, but whatever the new platform is.
Yeah, right. You select from the ITQ companies that were awarded to be in the queue, right?
Yeah, actually, I haven't worked with ITQs for construction, only on design. But if that's an option, then that could be a direction we go.
Well, we're never happy with zero, but I understand that that engineering, there's so many different substrates of engineering. So, I mean, I don't know enough about this particular work to speak more on it than I already have.
So I guess typically, recently we selected an engineering team for the construction of the Davis Avenue Bridge. And so that's starting from basically from scratch. They're designing a brand new bridge. And in that case, and we use the medium ITQ categories when advertising that. And so that contract, it ended up being, I think it's about $530,000. And the way the team came together, there's, the prime engineer who's doing a lot of the structural components and some of the public outreach, but then they bring in a consultant to do the surveying, a consultant to do the geotechnical analysis, a consultant to do environmental permitting. And so on that project, I think we had about 35% DVE participation. But with this one really just being some structural detailing, it would be inefficient to share that work outside of your own office.
I understand.
So just the costs add up so quickly that even though this is a small ITQ, we're hitting that. As you can see, we've already had to split it into 2 work orders just to attack these two problems. So it's kind of a question for how we can use the small ITQs effectively, just in the present and in the future, while still kind of meeting our goals as a department.
Okay, well, my recommendation, and I'll open it up for questions, but my recommendation would be, if this does get approved today and we vote on it, it gets approved, that you keep us informed of when it gets to the construction side, and and how this process went and where you're at with it. Like, let's keep an eye on it if we do approve it. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
So Commissioner Hall again, can you just help us out, and mainly for myself, when is this construction side, like what's the time frame between where we are now and then this construction side? Because I'd really like to know this outreach upcoming for this construction, to Commissioner Conley's point.
We're hoping to complete both of these repairs in 2022. So with that in mind, I think we hope to have finished developing plans in May or early June and advertise for construction. I'm never good on these dates, but if that means we're advertising for construction in June or July,
Okay.
So we can attack it this summer and fall.
Okay.
Thank you.
We won't hold you to that timeline.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else with any questions?
Maybe could we set a date to follow back up with them if it gets approved?
Yes, I would like for us to follow back up with Zach, probably starting in March, to see where everything is and everything's going. And so we could bring it back to the commission, because he should have a target date by then to when the construction will begin.
I think March is a little ambitious. I would say closer to May.
It would be nice, maybe starting in, I like May for him to come back, but maybe in March he can, give us an email in the office saying we're this
Internal.
far, or that far, or that far, right?
Yeah,
where we're at now.
internally, but to come back in front of us, I would like him to have more to report on. I don't want to waste everybody's time, so. All right, can I get a motion?
So moved. This is Monica.
You're making a motion to approve?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thanks. Can I get a second? Can't get a second? Uh-oh.
Okay, remember too, guys, that this is an ITQ contract. It's a work order. We've already approved this
Right.
as an ITQ company. Okay, so what I would like from our commissioners is just what you guys did, is let them know that in the future, that we want to see more participation on these, even though they're small bites. And like Commission Chair Connolly said, there are companies in the tri-state that can get a piece of that action. So in the future, I would like to see this company do more as far as getting participation on these smaller ones, if they can.
Oh, yeah. I'm not even supposed to put this to a motion, am I?
No, you're not.
Okay, I apologize.
Yes. We just wanted to let them, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I just wanted to mention that when they were approved, there were like, they had enlisted about 12 sub-consultants. So going forward, we really hope those sub-consultants are engaged.
Correct.
So when you say, Commissioner Hall, when you say sub-consultants, were any of those MBEs, WBEs? I mean, do
Yes,
we
they
do we
were.
know?
Yes, yes, because when we, so how the ITQ plans work is like it's a pre-bid qualification. We had them up for approval and they had, where each prime basically lists out the prospective sub-consultants they will engage with when a project comes along, when a work order comes along. So on the basis of that, like after we did our due diligence, and these were companies, primes that were approved, and then based on the requirement of the department, they dive into this pool and look at whatever appropriate prime they can engage with.
So this is the reason that, first of all, this contract can't be subbed out. That was the start of his discussion, is it can't be pieced out. There's not, it's not cost effective to split something off and have another minority or women-owned business do that part of the contract. It doesn't make financial sense. So what we're hoping to get from commitment from them is when it moves into the next form of the project, that there's going to be more participation, and that they would, definitely reach out to the smaller companies that are qualified. With engineering, it is tough because, like I said, there's so many different professional, like, expertise, specialties to different engineering companies and what they're experts on. So, I mean, that's what I'm assuming that's what's going on here, that this company that you chose, even though they are not a minority or women-owned business or a DBE, has the specific qualifications for this work order in particular.
Yeah, and I think, the DOMI is, of course, trying to be mindful of hitting, of distributing the work that we have. And so, like I said, the last work order we had was 100% MBE, worth 97,000. I think it's just with the small ITQ, the way the hours add up, it's going to be difficult for us to use the ITQs and still come in under 100,000 while having, you know, more than one consultant on the team. So if we can kind of evaluate it holistically, I guess that's kind of what we're hoping. You know, to see that DOMI is still reaching these commitments,
Mhm.
even if it's not on a specific work order.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. So the last work order of this kind, which was the Davis Avenue Bridge, went to the Prime, was a minority-owned business.
Well, there's a separate project, but
Yeah.
the last time we used the small ITQs, yeah, it went to an MBE.
So you're going through, for lack of a better words, the Rolodex. So who's been selected from the beginning of this process, then you're divvying out those work orders kind of. I don't know why I can't talk today.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
You know what I mean?
yeah, and we're not necessarily, yeah, to call it going through the Rolodex, I think that has kind of a negative connotation, but we are working with all of the companies that we have available, both to get varied expertise as well as different backgrounds on board. And
Giving everybody a shot, giving all the companies a shot at as work comes up, you go through and
mhm.
and that was the way this was described to us from the beginning is you know, that companies would be selected, they would go into their own categories, and then, you know, they would get work as it was coming up, and you guys would have this
Mhm.
group to select from. So
I can say this, commissioners, as a department, DOMI last year was really good.
yeah,
They led the 18
yeah.
and 7 overall. So yes, they made the 18 and 7 overall. So DOMI was pretty good in 2021.
And I think it's also worth noting that while STV is not isn't an MBE, this would be, I think, their very first contract with the city. So it's an opportunity to kind of establish new working relations.
I was just going to add that portion of the funds still might go to MWB firm after bidding for rigging and traffic control. So it still might go. We just don't know at this point how the bid's going to go.
So there's still opportunity.
Within the funds that you're seeing.
These funds. Okay, we definitely would like to know if that was able to be done. Like I said, you don't need to actually come back yourself, but let the office know. And then maybe come back in May and let us know how it's going.
Yeah, I can do that. I think Masha will be advertising for rigging probably in the first few weeks of the contract, right? So we'll have that information relatively soon.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Commissioners, how do you, this isn't a vote. I mean, this is almost like a courtesy to come and give us updates. We already voted on these companies, so.
Right.
Tracy, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan, you know, based upon the clarification of where they stand right now. But I think to the point that Zachary made, with them being a new company working, I think it should just be reiterated to them that the city of Pittsburgh does look for minority and women participation. And so, you know, if they have future opportunities to work for the city, that's something that they should keep in mind and work towards.
We just want our goals and our mission reiterated to the companies that have been selected for these ITQs. All right, does anybody have anything else for Masha or Zach?
Yeah, Felicity has her hand up.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't see it. Go ahead, Felicity.
I was actually just clapping for Tracy's comments. I think that's a great introduction to ensure that we are meeting the city's goals there, so.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
you.
We
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Marsha.
Do we hop off now?
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
yes. you
Okay,
may.
take care.
Thank you.
So we'll just revert back to the remaining ITQs. There was one work order from DPW. This one's Fire Station 8, and the prime is Larson Design Group. They have a WBE SB Thomas on the plan, and the cost is around 54,000. Then there are two other plans, additional Smallman Street public improvements and 57th Street survey. But these are less than 50,000, so I won't go into the details. The last one here is the retaining wall replacement between Heron Avenue and Linoleum Street, and the prime here is Ground Technology. They have the project cost is 92,000, and they have 3 subs on it, 1 MBE, 1 WBE, and this is the cost allocation. The MBE will get 16,800, and 3,000 is the amount allocated to CAG engineering. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Posna. That's great. Okay, so anybody that's not a commissioner with the EORC commission can jump off this call. I can't see all the people, all the folks. So.
Yeah, they're all off. It's
Okay.
all-
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the only thing that I have to say, and then Chuck, I'll let you, do your manager addresses. I just wanted to talk about, just not meeting in person, and doing that, like the email I sent out, like doing this on a month-to-month basis and leaving it up to you. If you want to participate in person or not. I think next month, February, we should definitely keep this online. Chuck, you're just easier to hear and everything
Right.
there. So if you don't mind, make that your office day, just so we don't have the
Yes.
technical difficulties that we have in the past. But definitely in February, I think we should keep it online and then reassess in March to see if we want to come back in person or do it virtual. I'm not a, scientist or anything, but I just feel like these numbers are going to start to drop. I think we probably hit that holiday overload of cases, and hopefully everybody will start, not spreading this anymore. So what are your thoughts? Anybody have any thoughts about that? Or
I was gonna say, Chuck, I'll come and hang out with you, man. I'll bring us some stuff.
Yeah, this is it's a lonely room by yourself, man. But what I would like to do though, guys, is I'm going to keep this room
yes,
for our meetings all through the year,
for sure.
just in case when we want to come back here, we can.
Sounds good.
And we'll keep those times open for both personal and virtual.
And it'll all be this Thursday, it'll be Thursdays at noon?
Thursdays at noon.
Okay,
The third Thursday of each month at noon. Okay. Also, I'd like to let you know we finished up the report on the RFP portion, and we came in at 28.9%. 29%. We were supposed to hit 25. So we're doing pretty good, guys. So that's great. Coming from 2-3 years ago when we were at 17%.
great.
And we've also been able to cut the meeting times in almost half. So that's great too. So this was a short meeting, but keep in mind that, March, April, May, construction season starts.
Yep.
We'll be hearing from the URA, the SCA, and those cats. So this was a short one, but hopefully we'll be able to keep them all with, about an hour, 15 minutes tops.
Yeah.
I'd like to add to that, Chuck, as we move forward, for those contracts that start coming before you, if they look like that we should not see them, please pull them. I mean, talk to Commissioner Conley and I, so that
Okay.
when we get our meetings, that could be time efficient as well.
I will do that, Commissioner.
we're always gonna shoot for an hour.
Right. That's,
You know,
that's the game.
I don't want to cut people off. I don't want, but you know, this has worked really well where, you know, they come in, they don't tell us all about the project. They know that, you know, our interest is in how they got to their numbers and, you know, their commitment to the mission, that sort of thing. If anybody's interested in the project, I mean, feel free to, you know, ask about it if it's something in your neighborhood or affect, you know, close to your job and you want to hear about it, that's fine. I mean, nobody's going to be rude and cut you off for that, but we don't have to hear about every single project.
What's good that's
Yeah.
happening with us right now is we're in front of the procurement process now. We're up in
Yeah,
front.
perfect.
We're not at the back where, you know, we get everything at the end. So I know the primes, I reach out to the primes way before they come to our meetings and let them know that 10% is not enough. 15% is not enough. And then if they hit 25%, I say, can you give me some more? So, you know.
That's what I stressed from the beginning. You know, your office, you and Apasna, like, that's what we expect from that. By the time it gets to us, you know, this should be approve or not approve.
Right.
If we're not going to approve it, here's why.
Right. And I also do an in-house evaluation scoring system that I have. I can almost tell within about 90% if you guys are going to vote yes or no, believe it or not. So I do a little bit extra with the in-house evaluation with a good faith effort. So I know pretty much, like I said, about 90% how you guys will determine what's going on. And the only time I'll bring something to you if it's marginal, you know, say it's under 25%, but they have good faith effort, you know, so it'll be something like that.
The one thing I would like to see this year, some of my goals for the EORC is that we engage sports and exhibition, parking authority. More authorities are coming in front of us. So, you know, work on that, talk to the new administration, see what their goals are and see if there's any way that they could put a little bit of, you know, make a suggestion that they should be coming in front of us.
I agree with you. And I hope to meet with Mayor Gainey soon and let him know that parking and PWSA are the big two that we want to come before us, because we don't know what PWSA is doing with minority and women contractors right now. And they have a lot of money that they're putting out on the street with, you know, with changing these lines and pipes and all that stuff. And we need to know how much is going to minority and women businesses. Parking Authority doesn't do a whole lot. Parking Authority only does, you know, maintenance on their garages every so often. The PWSA does work all the time.
Right, and they're charging a fortune.
Yep. So I am going to talk to Mayor Gainey about it and see if he can kind of get the PWSA people to come back to us to make sure that they're in compliance with the city code 177A.
And what about the URA? Do they have their own? Are they conducting their own checks and balances?
So what's great with the URA, Director Walker, anything big, she comes to me. Anything big, she comes to us. So the biggest project they still have on is that hill, the one that they came with us in 2021.
Yeah.
The $116 million one where we got 45%.
Yes.
So it was great. And she's going to let me know anything that comes from the URA that we need to review.
Yeah, if it's over 50 grand.
Right. So she's been really good working with me. She's been excellent.
Okay. Okay, good.
The two authorities are parking and PWSA, because, you know, Housing Authority comes to us every month.
Right.
The SEA comes to us when they do garage work, you know, convention center stuff. So they, you know, they're not yearly, so to speak, but they do come to us. It's those two other agencies, or authorities, I should say, that we need to really put a fire up on. to start coming back to us.
Okay.
And
Well,
I just want to add, if Felicity, I mean, most of us may know who she is and why she's here, but can you just introduce yourself and tell us your role? Which no, some of us may know, but if you can just do that for clarity.
Is she still on?
Karen, I can hear you. I can hear you talking in the background. I am so sorry. I ended up getting a phone call in the middle here, which I just put on hold. But my name is Felicity Williams. I am the Assistant Chief of Staff here for Mayor Gainey. I'm excited to be here and learn more about this. My family actually has a background in government contracting, so I'm familiar with a lot of the different terms. You're not here locally in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area for the Department of Defense. So I am familiar with a lot of the terms that you guys are talking about and really excited to dig into the work here that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Felicity.
Welcome, Felicity.
Thank you. Thank you. And I apologize that I had to go off camera there for a second.
All right.
And I hope to have Felicity at all our meetings throughout the year, guys. So we're glad to have her.
Yes, this is very important to Mayor Gainey, making sure that we are getting minority participation. So excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. We've really honed in these meetings and you're coming in on a good time. They used to be 2.5 hours long, so. All right, anybody else have anything to add?
Just come visit me sometimes, guys.
We got you, Chuck.
Got you, Chuck. You got my word on it, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it a little apartment out of this room.
But Chuck, I still think when you send out the monthlies, still ask how many are virtual and how many's coming in. Like, don't stop asking, because I
Okay.
think that's part of the system that we have going on right now.
I will sure do that, Commissioner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to come back in person for sure. I get stir crazy in this dining room. Okay, all right, guys. Well, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right.
Second,
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. You know that. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
bye.
okay,
See you next month.
Bye.
Stay
bye.
warm.
Yes.
Stay safe.
Doctor.